Hello guys, and thank you for joining me. My name is Eugen, and today I'll be showing you an interesting fountain pen that I have found on AliExpress. The Natami 1919, also called Inception fountain pen. Now, well, after I found out and did some research on it, it turns out that this pen has been around for a couple of years, but I'm only discovering it now. So you might already be familiar with it, but to me it is a new find and I'm excited about sharing my experience with it. The pen does come in a few other colors, all demonstrators: purple, green, red, and blue. Personally, I choose these transparent versions with the rose gold trim, but I also believe they do have a version with just a silver trim, not the rose gold. And well, I thought that visually this version is much more pleasing than the silver version. However, since I do have a spot for green and gold combo, I'm thinking that maybe I should have went with the green version. Who knows, if I'm gonna like it that much over time, I might end up with another copy. This pen is not that much on the cheaper side compared with other fountain pens that I've been reviewing in the past. But based on what I paid, I think it was a fair price. At the moment of purchasing this pen, I paid around 19.99.98 Canadian dollars and an additional 881 on shipping charges. Since then, I did notice at one time that prices have risen a little bit. Since then, almost doubled actually. I believe last time I was looking at them, I was looking for the green and gold trim version. The prices were around 33 Canadian dollars, and I was a little bit skeptical about buying it at that point in time. I'm still unsure about it. And that $33 did not include shipping, you still had to pay the shipping part. But anyway, as usual, if you're interested in this pen, try and shop around. You might find it for cheaper in other places. Anyway, that being said, let's talk about the pen. As you can see, in shape, it's pretty much, again, a cigar classic shape. Pretty much like the Moonman that I previously reviewed, the Moonman S3. However, this pen feels a little bit larger in hand, and for me at least, it feels like a better fit. As you can see, it is a demonstrator with the end finials. Well, actually, there's no end finial on the barrel, it's just the barrel that it's round shaped. And the cap does have a finial that just spins around, but it doesn't actually feels like it's gonna open up or anything like that. It just spins, but it only the dome, the outside dome spins, the inside dome stays static. And then you have a clip, gold trim clip that actually works pretty well. And give me a second, let me reach out for something. Yeah, just wanted to do another demonstration on how the clip works and if by any chance snags it anyway. So feels like it will take a pocket shot very well and doesn't snag at all, which is good. And the clip feels a little bit on the tight side, but still pretty usable, and I think it can accommodate quite a couple of type of pockets without a problem. In the middle, you have the rose gold band, metal band, and nothing at the end. And that's about for the outside. Oh, actually, another thing is that the cap and the body of the pen, as in the barrel, they have facets. I didn't count them, but there are quite a few of them. And they're actually pleasant. I don't dislike them. I really like it. And I like that through the cap, even though it does have an inner liner, it's semi-translucent, and you can get a glimpse on that number 6 nib. Speaking of the nib, if you want to see it, you have to remove the cap, and this is a twist action. I can open up the cap in one movement, doing this without any issues, and the threads are extremely smooth. I can't describe how smooth they are. I can just do that, and it actually self-tightens basically. Very smooth, I like it. And it's plastic on plastic threads. But I think the highlight for this pen, it's actually the nib. It's quite a nice nib, I like it. And on my copy it comes as a gold trim as well. It's a fine nib, and I like the scrolling work that is on it, at least those semicircles. And one thing that I'm not 100% sure, it's the inscription on it. Let me try and get a closer look if I can. There you go. It says, "The Flight of Time." I have no idea what it means. If it's supposed to have some deep meaning, I honestly don't get it, but there it is, the flight of time, whatever that means. And then you have the size of the nib, which in my case is fine. Unfortunately, they didn't have an extra fine, at least I couldn't find one. And then I guess the company's name, which is Natami. Odd thing, on the AliExpress page, from the seller that I bought it, he was saying something that is a Japanese company. However, from my research, turns out that is not. Lower down the nib, and you can see it through the transparent section. I guess that is the logo of the company, which is actually pretty pleasant. I like it. And it looks like they do have a special cutout for the nib, and at the same time they do have a keyed dot feed. So the good thing about it is that you can mount this nib and feed only in one way, and that's a good thing. I like it. And this is the pen. This is how it looks in your hand. It's actually pretty good size, and I like that it has a number 6 nib size, because that allows for the nib to basically sit a little bit more out, and it helps with the position of the hand. This way you don't have to grip the pen a little bit higher in order for your fingers to clear the page. Just to get an idea how it is, when I was testing it, the nib seemed actually pretty good. Nothing out of the ordinary. I didn't feel like it scratches, so this nib seems to be done pretty well, and at least the copy that I received, both sides, reverse and normal side, seems to glide on the page very well without much of an issue. Balance wise, the pen is balanced quite in the middle, I mean without ink. You can actually post it, but because this cap does have the gold band metal trim, will basically make the pen a little bit back weighted, so the balance will be somewhere in there, which is quite a lot. The pen does post, unfortunately does not post too deep, it's literally just the tip, but to its credit, it posts better than the Moonman S3 that I previously reviewed. You still have to kind of push it in there, but once it's there, it feels much better when you grip it. It doesn't feel like it's moving, unless you really grip it, and then it will move. The only downside is that, well, it still sits a little bit crooked. I don't get what's with these pens and why it's so hard to design a cap that actually posts deep, but it is what it is. On the good side, though, is that the pen, it's actually pretty good sized, at least compared with the S3 from my last review. For me, this pen actually feels comfortable, and I think mostly it's because of that number 6 nib that allows my hands to sit a little bit higher on the pen without dragging my middle finger on the paper. Removing the barrel, as you can already see through the pen because it's fully transparent, you do have a converter, which it's actually a pretty nice converter. Doesn't have a metal band on it, but it mounts very nice, fairly deep and secure. And the piston on the converter works very nice, very smooth. Again, no issues with it. I haven't tried to see if I can remove this band. It seems to be pretty tight in there. I hope it's not glued. But as is, I see no issues or need to service this. Probably you would be able to remove that color, but will probably require some extra effort to remove it. And the threads on the barrel are actually quite nice, just as smooth as on the cap. It basically self-tightens and you can close it in one move, and that's nice and tight actually already. Yeah, this is the pen, so let's try and fill it up and see how it's gonna be. Okay, for today I wanted to try an ink that it's one of my favorites. This is the Pelikan 4001 Brilliant Brown. Feeling it, it's pretty much straightforward like any other converter type fountain pen. Remove the barrel, have the piston all the way down, dunk it in the ink, fill it up once just to prime the nib, go back down, and then fill it up the second time to get a proper full fill. And what I usually like to do is just drag that feed a little bit very gently on the edge of the ink bottle. This way I don't have to drop ink back in. And it looks like it gets a pretty good fill actually. Pen cleans up very nicely. Not a lot of effort in it, which is good. And that's it. Okay, doing a small writing sample. So, almost probably use this without a cap. This is Natami 1919. What was the name again? Okay, Inception, I believe. The nib feels actually pretty nice. I like it. Let me see. Okay, I like the nib. So far so good. It's a little bit chatty and not very smooth. I'm not sure if I'm gonna smooth it out. I'll try it out as is for now. But it seems to work very well. And on reverse, feels very dry. Doesn't look like I'll be able to use the reverse at all. Like extremely dry. I might floss it to see if it helps a little bit, but we shall see. Okay, so far so good. Nice, I like it. Okay, so for today, as you can see on the screen, I'm going back again to one of my pictures. I believe I already tried one of these cones. Last time I was drawing it, I had no idea what they were called, and I keep referring them to them as wood flowers, whatever that is. I was, if I remember correctly, I was reviewing the Moonman T5. Since then, I learned something. Apparently, these might be called tamarack cones, if I got it right. One of my favorite type of cones. So today, I was gonna try and attempt to draw this cone again in, well, a more natural color actually. They usually don't tend to be black. They're more maroon-like in color. And again, just drawing the outline and then trying to do the shading, hopefully some nice shading. And I'm gonna continue with my new favorite thing that I like enjoying. I guess kind of a new style of mine, at least until I come up with something else, or at least fall in love with something else new. I'm gonna be using the glass tip pen just to spread this color around and maybe create like a nice sort of a gradation around this cone, and hopefully make it more interesting. Okay, I am back and I am done with the drawing for today, and turned out interesting. Maybe I went a little bit overboard, but I kind of like this color. Again, this is Pelikan Brilliant Brown. It is one of my favorite colors. I actually like to use it for writing a lot. But by the looks of it, I will most probably be using it more for drawing as well. First time I'm actually using this ink for a drawing like this. Turned out interesting. Pretty fun. So, what do I think about this fountain pen? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, to put it bluntly, I actually like it. I really like this fountain pen. I have no issue. I have no ink flow issues. I actually it did pretty good. No complaints. I didn't smooth the nib out. I did not floss the nib out. I used it as it was from pretty much the box, or basically the package. It didn't come in a box. And I have no complaints. Nice nib too. I like the design of it. So, as conclusions, what do I think about this fountain pen? Honestly, I think it has a pretty nice design and seems to be very well built. I really like how the threads on the pen are, like both the cap and the barrel are very smooth, and I never had any issues with them binding in any way. Even with this, I've been playing a lot and I cannot find a way to cross these threads. They align very well all the time, so hard to complain about that. And like I mentioned, I really like the design of the nib. It's quite unique in its own way, and that's actually a good thing. And the rose gold looks really nice. I mean, I do dislike the idea of the flight of time, which I have no idea what it means, but like I said, it is there. Can't really hide it. I like the material. It doesn't feel like sharp, hard plastic. For whatever reason, to me at least, it feels pleasant, soft, and at the same time, like it has mass. It's well built. I like these plastics. I don't know what kind of plastic it is, but I like it. I also like the converter. It holds in pretty nicely. I didn't had any issue with the ink flowing in the converter, so basically I had no issue with ink getting stuck at the top or something like that. Also, the ink is pretty nice and flowy, so I can't complain about that either. It also posts for whoever needs it. I mean, not the best posting pen, but it does post if you think that it's maybe too small for your hands. Personally, I find it actually very comfortable. Again, like I said, compared with the Moonman S3 that I previously reviewed, it's actually better built. Better built, but again, I'll give to the Moonman S3 is not as pretty, unless you're really in love with demonstrators and you don't care about the other type of designs, which in that case for you this will make much more sense anyway. What do I don't like about this fountain pen? Well, even though I mention it as a positive, it does post, but it feels like it could be a little bit deeper. I think it would have been nicer if the pen would have been able to post this deep, like a little bit more than halfway through. It'll probably brought the balance way much better for the fountain pen. So it's like a pro and a con at the same time. And this is nitpicking mostly. This top finial spins, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't come out of there. I'm not sure if I could remove it. It's odd, but it is what it is again. And that's it. Very few things that I dislike. So, confusing, the spinning finial, and this weird, which by the way it's also on the band here, flight of time. I just noticed something. Come on, focus. So on the nib, it's saying the flight of time. And on the cap just says flight of time. God damn it, be consistent. Oh, and on the other side, it's you also have the model number, 1990. And with that said, this is it. Nothing else more to say. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the description and I will try and answer them. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but if you're looking to see the weight and dimensions, I do have them in the description if that's something that you want to know. And thank you for joining me. I hope I'll see you next time. And I wish you a good day and a good night, whatever you are, and take care. Bye.